Hello, fellow classmates. Sociology 491, Sociological Perspectives. I am Ron Spiegelman, and before I begin, you're probably wondering, who's that old guy? Yes, I am 57 years old, and here I am with you in this class, and I have been so tremendously excited by what I have learned from all of you, as well as in this class. Truth be told, I am a professional symphony conductor, and I work all over the country conducting professional orchestras. In fact, my main job is actually conducting what's called live-to-film performance, in which we play soundtracks live to a movie that plays on a screen above the orchestra. In fact, I don't bring slides, but I bring props. And what I am working on right now, which I'm doing the end of next week with the Fort Worth Symphony, is Star Wars The Force Awakens. Yes, episode 7. For the first time, I've done the trilogy, and I've done all 8 Harry Potter films. Anyway, enough about that. The reason I'm telling you this, though, is because I come at this from a very different angle. And I'm going a completely different direction than I talked about in my career exploration papers, because I am looking at that as aspirational of what I want to do, which is to make a change in early childhood education to focus it to be gender neutral, so that we can get what Nancy Fraser talks about as the parity of participation from early childhood, because I think that will make a big difference. But I don't want to talk about that here, because I want to talk about what I'm really doing to start with, because I need credibility in the social science space to be able to do anything like that in the educational space and arena. So I am actually pursuing my master's right now in liberal studies. And what I am doing with that is I'm going to combine or synthesize my profession as a musical director with my sociological studies. Truth be told, I have a degree in family and human development, a Bachelor of Science, which I graduated in December of last year, summa cum laude, and I won the Dean's Medal, which was a big surprise to me. And anyway, I am really thinking very closely about my profession and what change needs to be made. My profession is to be a music director. And what I believe that is important is to study the social role of a music director. So I did some research and could not find any classes in any postgraduate or graduate work as the conducting students currently pursue in the social role of what it is to be an artistic director. And so what I'm pursuing right now in my liberal studies master's for my final project, which I'm going to be undertaking not next semester, but in the spring semester, is to create a course in the social aspects and the social role of being a conductor and a music director, with a competency method or a competency portfolio approach in the people-centric aspects of the business, using what I call a 4-pillar approach of being prepared, being organized, being professional, and being efficient, that spelling Pope, and with that competency method, creating a capstone of excellence in being able to fulfill your social role as a music director. So consequently, it was difficult to write about this in my career exploration because this is something new. I've done my research, and so what I'm looking at, in a sense, is to, create a business or create a consultancy in providing coursework for universities to be able to administer this course for their aspiring musical directors. And to be a conductor, you are really looking at master's and DMA, which is Doctor of Musical Arts students. So this is not for undergrads. And so consequently, I am looking to create that course and to be able to customize it for different universities, perhaps even a professional consultancy and a certification program. So that is the profession. And the reason I selected it is because I believe in myself as being a multi-potentialite. I'm going to provide a link to a fantastic TED Talk by Emily Wapnick in what a multi-potentialite is, which is basically, and the talk is literally called Why Some of Us Don't Have One True Calling. I believe what I'm going to do is match my musical experience, which is now over 30 years on 3 different continents, and an ongoing professional occupation of being a conductor and music director, and my sociological studies, as well as studies in leadership, communication, project management, and psychology, as well as counseling, and to create a course in preparing young conductors to accept and administer and to be excellent in their social, people-centric role of interfacing and interpersonal relations with musicians and the general public. So the skills are twofold. One, to be a conductor, you have to have incredible musical talent and musical training and musical skill. If you have been accepted in a master's program of conducting, then you have already demonstrated that, because they're very hard to get into. And then to be a professional conductor means that after you graduate, you have to be accepted into the profession by a professional orchestra. There's usually about 200 applicants for every job. And so it's very hard to get into. So basically, once you're in that job, you have to then interface with the public almost immediately. You have to have interpersonal relationships with musicians. You have to talk to board members. You have to talk to management teams. You have to talk to your community leaders, the community at large, sometimes even politicians to try to advocate for grant funding. So there is a lot of human relationship skill that you need to have, as well as leadership skill. So I'm going to be doing a course in teaching conductors how to be a temporal leader, managing time, how to understand leader-member exchange, how that you have to transfer your leadership, especially when you're in front of an orchestra, allowing people to play, to basically take over the performance because it's their solo. That's just small examples. How you manage the relational dialectic of being an individual and then directing a collective. How do you do that? How do you do that? And that is something that can be taught, because leadership skills, methods, project management techniques, if it has the word technique, method, or skill, it means it can be taught. So the training here is what I'm getting, is that now that I've had all of this sociological training, in a sense, by studying sociology, human development, and now in my master's, leadership skills, as well as project management skills, organizational leadership, emotional intelligence, all of these things, I believe that this is something new that I can create, a certification program in understanding your people-centric role. So for me, I have the music degree from England 30 years ago. Yeah, I'm 57. And I have all the required experience and credibility in the space as being a musical director. So now, by gaining a master's in this field, which in this case is liberal studies, because I am looking to customize this with the undergrad that I've received in family and human development, and all of the training I've had in communication and sociology and also counseling. And now in my master's, taking leadership courses and also project management courses, I now feel like I have the skills to create and the knowledge to create this course for aspiring musical directors. And the reason is because it does not exist. I have done my research and I have talked to at least 15 conductors of all different levels, from student to renowned professionals. And they are all saying to me, yes, this is something that young conductors absolutely need. Now, I'm trying to, like I say, I'm jumping around here with all the prompts. The occupational outlook. Well, you see, this doesn't exist. So I guess the only correlation that I found with the handbook was, in fact, with educational instruction at the post-secondary level. And so, yes, the median salary is $83,000 a year, approximately, And there are nearly 1.4 million jobs as of 2023. There's an 8% growth rate, 111,400 people, more people in 10 years are employed. And so, it's one of those things where that's as close as I can get. But I don't necessarily want to be a post-secondary teacher. What I want to do is introduce a new paradigm of education in the musical space. And I think there are big challenges, and that's on prompt number 6. The challenges are, well, music is very territorial. Professors in conducting really want their students to be their students. And there are two very, very distinct areas of the conducting profession because they are all-encompassing. I am in the professional space. So I work with professional orchestras all over the country and in Canada, Australia, Great Britain. And so I'm traveling all the time, and I'm a professional conductor. Somebody who works as a professional conductor in the educational space by training the next generation of conductors, they are at a college. And they do professional work, but it's very tangential to their academic work. They are really focused on teaching. So my challenge is that how do I introduce this to them as a professional? Does that not threaten, their sort of authority? And so my goal will be to mitigate that by explaining that I will be looking into the people-centric aspect of the profession that they will encounter once they have left the degree program and they are actually in the profession. Case in point, as an anecdotal example, my first professional music directorship was with the Springfield Symphony in Missouri. And on my very first day when I walked in the office, because I actually moved to the community, I was told that one of the bass players, who was a big advocate of mine to get the job, because the orchestra voted, died. And I'm to go to the funeral, and the family would like me to say a few words. And I'm thinking to myself, I didn't take that class in school. I learned about how to conduct an orchestra. I learned about music, but I didn't learn this. And that got me thinking, how can people learn this? And I think it can be learned. How you talk to people, empathic listening, Socratic questioning, always looking to think about confidentiality when you're meeting with musicians who are potentially having artistic problems. Those are things that really need to be learned. What is servant leadership? How can we help our communities? These are really important things that I think can be learned. And so it got me thinking, as a multi-potentialite, how can I match my sociological training with my professional output? And like I say, I'm not emerging into a profession. I already have a profession, and it is full-time. I am on the road 30 weeks of the year. And so this is what I'm doing. I am trying very hard to get more perspective in how I can relate and interface with the world. And so I feel like this can be really customized to other kinds of artistic leadership, theater directors, ballet masters, producers. It could even go into the sports realm, because I think one thing that needs to be taught is our social role in this world. Goffman's theory of social roles is so important because, as Shakespeare says, all the world is a stage and we all play our parts. And so I feel as though it is not enough to just learn a skill. A skill is something that we learn how to do, but a job is how we interface with the world. So my skill as a conductor is to conduct an orchestra. My job is to touch people's lives with music. And so I'm trying to come up with this course of study, an online course. I'm kind of matching what I did here at Arizona State, of how to really put this into a very concentrated form so that potential music directors, when they hit the ground in their first job, they know how to talk to people, they know how to listen empathically, and they know how to be leaders. And they know the difference between project management and leadership, how to be a change maker, an opinion maker, how to use insight and foresight and hindsight. And so the idea is this profession is something I'm actually creating. That is what I'm wanting to do. And I have learned so much in this class. and it has given me so much perspective. And that's exactly what this class is, advanced sociological perspectives. I'm going to put that link to that talk by Emily Wapnick on why some of us don't have one true calling, so you can kind of see where I'm coming from. It has been an absolute honor and a pleasure to be with you, and I am looking forward to seeing even more of your videos that are so inspiring. Thank you so much.